Understanding death. Death is for the body, not for the soul. Hello everyone, I am Pulkit Mathur, founder of The Spiritual Bee, and in this three-part series I have assembled together certain profound truths about death, meditating upon which we will be able to accumulate the much-needed courage, balance and equanimity of mind for use in those difficult times when someone we love, such as a parent, a child, a spouse or even a pet, passes away, leaving us blanketed in grief and unable to cope with our loss. These truths about the nature of death come not only from the Bhagavad Gita, the revered text of Advaita Vedanta, but also from the Vedanta teachings of five great rishis, Sri Ramakrishna and his direct disciples Swami Vivekananda and Swami Abhedananda, as well as Sri Aurobindo and Swami Sivananda. All five of them were God-realized sages who possessed tremendous yogic insights into the subtle and causal realms of existence which lie beyond the knowledge base of modern science. Now, as we go through these videos, one thing you will notice is that despite these sages having lived in different times, the truths about death chronicled by them are remarkably consistent with each other. This is because the teachings of these sages are not derived from their personal opinions, guesses or beliefs, which naturally tend to be inconsistent. Rather, their teachings are based upon actual yogic experience, on actually witnessing the same realities regarding death in the subtle realm. For this reason, the truths about death expressed by these five sages are not only consistent with each other, but also align perfectly with the realizations chronicled in the Advaita Vedantic texts such as the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. So let us embark on our journey to uncover 12 key Vedantic truths about death, and we start by listing out the first five in this video. So the first great truth to learn about death is that no one really dies. What is called as death is only for the physical body. The soul, being eternal, persists beyond death. The day man will find that he never really dies, that his Atman, his soul, persists beyond death, he will have no more fear of death. Death is only a change of condition. From the seen we pass into the unseen. Swami Vivekananda, Complete Works, Volumes 1 and 5. The soul of man is part of the eternal cosmic energy that exists, that is a part of God. It is beyond life and death. You were never born and you will never die. Then what is this birth and death that we see around us? These belong to the body because the soul is omnipresent, that is present everywhere and eternal. Swami Vivekananda, Complete Works, Volume 2. Nature, body and mind go to death, not we. We neither go nor come. The man Vivekananda is in nature, is born and dies. But the self, the soul which we see as Vivekananda, is never born and never dies. It is the eternal and unchangeable reality. Swami Vivekananda, Complete Works, Volume 7. Life and death are only different names for the same fact, the two sides of the one coin. One particular mode of manifestation is what we call life. Another particular mode of manifestation of the same thing is what we call death. When the wave rises to the top, it is life, and when it falls into the hollow, it is death. Both modes of life and death are Maya, that is impermanent conditions which are subject to change. Beyond this realm of change lies our true nature, our Atman, our soul, that is never born, which never dies, never changes and never goes or comes. Without birth or death, eternal, ever existing, free, unchangeable, and beyond all conditions is the soul of man, the real self of man. Swami Vivekananda, Complete Works, Volumes 2, 4, 7 and 8. The soul is not born, nor does it ever die. Unborn, eternal, changeless and ancient, it is not killed when the body is killed. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Verse 20. So this is the first truth about death. Now the second truth to learn is that death is just like the casting away of a garment. Just as we change our clothes, similarly at the time of death the soul discards the covering of the outer gross physical body and journeys on clothed in the inner subtle body or Sukshma Sharir. Then after a period of rest in the subtle realm, when the time for rebirth arrives, the soul again manufactures a new physical body for itself. As we throw away our old worn out garments and put on new ones, so the living soul, after using the body which is the gross physical garment, throws it away when it is worn out and manufactures a new one at the time of rebirth. Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 2, Verse 22. Death is no longer mysterious when we know that there is an entity which has manufactured this instrument which is dwelling in it and which leaves it when the time comes. So death does not mean the annihilation of anything or destruction or reduction into nothingness of anything, but it means disintegration. It means that the instrument which has served its purpose must be thrown away. Our bodies are nothing but the instruments or the garments of the soul. Vedanta tells us that when a person dies, he is not really dead, but he changes his old garment of the physical body and takes on a new one. Vedanta says that death means a change, that is a change from one state of consciousness to another state of consciousness. And the soul throws away the physical body at the time of death, just as we throw away our old worn out garments. Swami Abhedananda in his book Life Beyond Death. Death is only a shedding of the body, not a cessation of the personal existence. A man is not dead because he goes into another country and changes his clothes to suit that climate. Sri Aurobindo in his book Letters on Yoga 1. This shedding of the physical body arises as a result of the soul's necessity for change. The soul requires this change so that it can grow through new life experiences, so that it can use the outer conditions of life to chip away at the scum of the ego covering the mind, and thus realize more and more of its true nature, its infinite divine Swarup. This is the third truth to realize about death. According to Hinduism, life is one continuous, never-ending process. Death is only a necessary and passing phenomena which every soul has to pass to gain experience for its further evolution. Just as you move from one house to another, the soul passes from one body to another to gain experiences. Swami Sivananda in his book What Becomes of Soul After Death. The purpose of rebirth is a progression by experience and evolutionary growth of the soul in nature towards its self-finding, that is towards realizing its infinite divine Swarup. Sri Aurobindo in Letters on Yoga 1. Nature in her deeper aspect as a conscious spiritual power is concerned with the growth by experience, with the spiritual development of the souls she has in her charge. And these souls themselves have a say in the matter. All these good people lament and wonder that unaccountably they and other good people are visited with such meaningless suffering and misfortunes. But are they really visited with them by an outside power or by a mechanical law of karma? Is it not possible that the soul itself, not the outward mind but the spirit within, has accepted and chosen these things as part of its development in order to get through the necessary experience at a rapid rate, to hew through even at the risk or cost of much damage to the outward life and the body? To the growing soul, to the spirit within us, may not difficulties, obstacles and attacks be a means of growth, a means of added strength, enlarged experience and training for spiritual victory? Sri Aurobindo in Letters on Yoga 1. A scientific thinker does not fear death but regards it as a necessity for change or growth. By death, science means a change, that is change from one form into another. In our lifetime, we see that naturally every 7th year we have almost a new body, and every molecule of our body is constantly changing. Every microscopic cell in our organism is producing new forms. The old forms are dying and different new forms are coming up. When you plant a tree, you will see how the seed dies before the plant begins to grow. So death is the beginning of a new stage of life, and therefore we must not cling to that old belief thinking that we must regard death as the constant enemy of life, but we must regard it as a friend of life. Swami Abhedananda in Life Beyond Death. Death thus does not mean annihilation but simply a change of form. From the gross form we move to the subtle. Since death is not destruction, therefore our consciousness does not end with death. This is the fourth truth to realize. Vedanta says that there is no such thing as death, which means destruction. It admits death in the sense of a change of the forms. This kind of death is a constant attendant of life. Life is impossible without death, which means the changes of the forms. It has been said before that we are dying every moment, and after every 7 years our bodies completely renew all their constitutive elements, but still the form is preserved. Although every particle of the body is changed, still we continue to exist. Our continuity is not broken and we remember things and events that happened 14 or 21 years ago. This continuity of the conscious agent or I cannot be explained by any physical or chemical laws. Vedanta thus gives the death blow to the materialistic theory by saying that thought or feeling or intelligence can never be produced by any mechanical or molecular motion. Motion produces motion and nothing else, says modern science. As such, how can the motion of the atoms of the body produce consciousness? That must be due to some higher power or force. This force is ordinarily called the soul. The soul is not subject to the atomic or molecular changes in the body. It is rather the cause of them. It is beyond all changes and consequently is beyond death. The soul is the basis of continuity of the conscious state and also of the sense of identity in the individual. As we survive and retain our individuality after each 7 years of change and renewal, so we will live as individual souls after the final dissolution of the forms of our bodies. Swami Abhedananda in Life Beyond Death. At death, you go out of this physical frame in another kind of body, not physical, and are the same person with the same consciousness. Sri Aurobindo in Letters on Yoga 1. Birth follows death just as waking follows sleep. You will again resume the work that was left off by you in your previous life. Therefore, do not be afraid of death. Swami Sivananda in Self-Knowledge. Finally, the fifth truth to learn about death is that the soul departs the gross physical body clothed in the subtle body or the Sukshma Sharir. This Sukshma Sharir is the carrier for the mind. Since the mind accompanies the soul after death, therefore after death we are still the same person. We can think and have memories of our relatives and friends whom we have left behind. The departed are nothing but people who have taken on another more subtle body. This body, unlike the gross physical body, is finer, but still a man body with hands and feet and so on. The departed live on this earth in another akasha or form without being absolutely invisible. They also think and have consciousness and everything else like us. Swami Vivekananda, Complete Works, Volume 5. The subtle body or Sukshma Sharir is composed of the mind, intellect and egoism. The impressions of actions done in various births are embedded in the subtle body. The conjunction of this subtle body with the gross physical body constitutes birth, and separation of the subtle body from the gross physical body is death. Swami Sivananda in All About Hinduism. Modern spiritualism, which consists of establishing contact with departed spirits, has given wonderful demonstrations regarding the existence of disembodied spirits who continue to live even after the dissolution of their gross material forms. It has demonstrated that the souls that have passed out remember their relatives, remember the conditions under which they passed. So memory continues even though the brain and the nervous system are destroyed. Therefore, memory is not the product of the function of the brain, but it is a power of the mind which goes with the soul wherever the soul goes. Swami Abhedananda in Life Beyond Death. Now, before we end, a small point to mention here is that this practice of becoming a professional medium and establishing regular contact with departed spirits, although quite prevalent in the West, has nevertheless been strongly discouraged by the rishis of Vedanta. The reason is because it puts the practitioner at serious risk of developing psychological problems. These problems have been detailed by Swami Abhedananda in his book Life Beyond Death in chapters 11 and 13 titled Spiritualism and Vedanta and the Spiritualistic Mediumship. So these are the first 5 truths to learn about death. In part 2 of our Understanding Death series, we shall visit 5 more truths which will reveal to us that after death our loved ones do not travel to some far off place where we cannot reach them, but remain right beside us just like the living. This is because after death the departed reside in a mental world. Therefore, whatever good thoughts we send them do reach them and bring them immense peace and comfort. So let us meet again in the next video to explore these Vedantic truths in detail. As always, thanks for watching and goodbye.